My name is Andy, and I'm the mom of two vaccine-injured children.
And tell us what happened. How they were before they were injured.
Both of my boys were completely normally developing for their milestones at the age that they were. When my oldest was vaccine injured, he was 18 months, and he was getting his MMR vaccine. That was the only vaccine he was getting that day. I was about...
That's unusual for America.
Mm-hmm. I know. We had followed the full vaccine schedule up until that point with my oldest. Everything was really unremarkable as far as any type of reaction whatsoever after those vaccinations. And I was about 7 months pregnant with my second child when I was bringing my oldest in for his 18-month vaccination with the MMR, his wellness check. And he was vaccinated with the MMR, and within 1 week lost all skills except for gross motor skills. So he was still running around and climbing all over everything. He was completely normally developing with everything, except then he lost all his speech, all his mimicking. He used to mimic every bit, all the hand gestures for Itsy Bitsy Spider. He used to sing along, he used to smile, make eye contact. He had probably 10 to 12 words at his 18-month visit, and he lost everything. Within a week of the MMR vaccine, he stopped speaking. Is this him?
Is this him here?
Careful, careful. That's not. Oh, that is the microphone. Thank you. Very interested in what's going on here, but so yeah, he lost everything within that week. A couple months later, I gave birth to his younger brother, and his younger brother was being vaccinated according to schedule. I remember bringing up to my oldest son's pediatrician. I said, how come he's not speaking anymore? And the pediatrician told me, oh, that's normal. He's just learning to run and walk and climb and jump, and he's just exploring all those gross motor skills. And boys do that sometimes. It's normal, it's normal. The one word you keep hearing over and over and over again as a parent is that it's normal. And not knowing anything, not knowing to question this.
Did you have vaccines when you were pregnant?
No.
That's good.
And I have no amalgam fillings. So otherwise very, very healthy mom. I was not eating like organic or anything like that, but I was eating, a balanced diet and no complications during pregnancy, completely normal pregnancy, normal delivery, and then, that's what happened with my oldest. So that's what I now know as his regression. So he regressed, and his doctor was telling me it was absolutely normal for him to do so. And then I have my younger son, and we're vaccinating him according to schedule because I did not know to question the vaccines. I was being told by my pediatrician and everyone around me that they were completely safe. And so I was vaccinating my younger son. I remember after his 2-month vaccines, he didn't handle it very well. He cried a lot. He was very fussy. And so at the next pediatrician's appointment, I decided that we were going to space them out. And so we spaced out every vaccine by a week or 2 weeks. And we'd get him one at a time. So he was getting all his single-dose vaccines, meaning that he wasn't getting the DTaP until the end of the series. So he got every vaccine that they wanted to give him in single dose, 1 to 2 weeks apart. And we were getting close to the 6-month mark when he finally received the 4-month version of the DTaP. And he had, within 2 hours of his vaccine, he had an encephalitic reaction. At the time, I didn't... They just come forward when they know you're talking about them. At the time, I didn't know what an encephalitic reaction was. Encephalitis is swelling in the brain, which I know now. He started screaming within 2 hours. He stopped eating. He was breastfeeding and wasn't eating very well. He started throwing up his food. His fontanel, I could start to see his pulse and his fontanel again, which I hadn't seen since he was very little. All right, I'm giving in. Since he was very young, since he was 2 months, he had fattened up and his fontanel was no longer as visible, but I could now see a pulse in his fontanel, which was probably due to the swelling in his brain. And he got to the point after a few days, I called the pediatrician's office and I said, something's not right, something's wrong, I think I need to go to the emergency room. And I remember the nurse telling me, no, You don't need to go. It's normal. Why would you take your kid into an environment with all these sick people and expose him to all these diseases when this is absolutely normal and he's going to be fine? Don't take him to the emergency room. And I remember calling back again the next day going, he's vomiting up his food, he's not sleeping, he's screaming until he passes out, which now I realize is shock. I don't have any medical training. That's not my area of expertise. So at the time, I'm, thinking with my own gut that something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong, and I wouldn't leave his side. I held him, I rocked him, I didn't lay him down in his crib. I held him all the time, and I prayed over him. Because part of me knew that something was very wrong with my youngest son. That something could, turn south at any minute. And I'm lucky because a lot of parents that tell me the story of their child's encephalitis after the DTaP then go on to tell me that their child died. SIDS, they found him in the crib. Their child had a seizure, they rushed him to the emergency room, and their child ends up passed away. And I end up, my son is alive, thank God, but, I have the opportunity to work towards his health every day, and those parents don't have that. So that is our story.
What has your trust in the system, your trust with the doctors, the vaccine injury, what are the consequences of what has happened to your boys? What has the vaccines taken away from your boys?
And this is, you hear this story with every vaccine injury story. It's taken away their future. It's now uncertain. I don't know what is going to happen. They lost so many skills, and we're working so hard for their health and to recuperate just those skills that they should have had the first 2 or 3 years of life, that God knows where they're going to end up in the future. And I pray every day that, they'll live full, fulfilling lives, but the fact is they may never get married. They may never graduate high school. It took until my oldest was over 3 years old for him to say he loved me, and I am lucky that I got that. There are plenty of parents that don't. I'm actually very lucky with some of the milestones that they've been able to rebuild after their injuries. I just don't know what. I'm always going to be caring for them, I believe. I believe that that's probably what's going to happen. So that's what the future looks like for me.
All right, well, so here's what you need to know. You are incredibly loved. And these people on here are here for you 100%. I know you watch Periscope, and
yes,
you are part of this family. What do you go under? How do they recognize you when you come on? What is your...
On Periscope, what's my handle? See the Riot.
Okay, this is See the Riot, and whenever you're on there, they know you.
Yes.
They are still sending you. So you're going to watch this
guys.
back, and
Thank
you will see how much you are loved.
We have to educate everybody so that what happened to my children doesn't happen to other people's kids. We have to slowly and compassionately, as much as possible, educate everyone we can get our hands on, anyone who will listen.
Okay, well, everyone on Periscope loves you, and I love you too, and Anu loves you, and all the vaccine love you, and thank you.
Thank you.